Rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. I greet you, my brothers and sisters, with the noble and universal greeting of peace, the greeting that has been used by the prophets and messengers of our universal Creator, Almighty Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We are here having the privilege to be alive, not just alive, but being alive as believers. You can be alive, and you can be alive as a unbeliever. You can be alive and faith has not entered into your heart. So we are alive and we have a purpose. We have a desire, we have an aspiration, and we get to continue in support of that aspiration. And our aspiration is to bring to Allah a purified heart. Because the Quran tells us that neither will your wealth nor your children avail you. Not your wealth, nor your children, not your businesses, not your family, not your finances, not your people. It's going to avail you on the day of accountability, when it's the bottom line. Nothing is going to, at the end of the day, nothing is going to avail us except those who bring to Allah a purified heart. So, if you are interested in living in a way that purifies your heart, if you are interested in living, experiencing that peace, that tranquility in a heart, the heart that is healed, the heart that is not diseased, then this is the track that we are on. Those of us who are interested in bringing to Allah a purified heart, those of us who are choosing to be believers, not just submission in religion, submissive in religion, but actually to be Allah conscious. You can live your life and you can live on different tracks. There's one track that is a track of not Allah conscious, Iman not in the heart, a diseased heart, astray. And you can live on that track that Allah says there's a disease in their hearts and that disease is expanded. They are astray and they are left to stray. You can live on that path, or on that track, or you can live on the track that is bringing to Allah a purified heart. This is called spiritual development. Spiritual development, spiritual development. And so spiritual development doesn't happen because somebody tells you something, or because you went to madrasa, or you got some information, or you got a guru, Maulana guru that you are following, and he's telling you a whole lot of things. You know what I mean? Spiritual development is the purifying of your heart. It is you being lost astray and are no longer lost and astray. You know what I mean? The Quran says when Adam and Eve were remorseful and they repented, Allah says, you and your people will remain. We are the people of Adam and Eve, until guidance comes to you. And those who receive the guidance, they will no longer be insecure. The heart won't be diseased. So, it's either you living with the guidance of Allah consciousness, the guidance of becoming Allah conscious, being on a track that is bringing to Allah a purified heart, which is a path of spiritual development, or you're not on the track of spiritual development. You see, this is a track. So whichever track you're on, it leads somewhere. There's a path, it leads somewhere. The track of spiritual development is a track of higher levels of awareness and experiencing, higher levels of functioning, The track of a heart that is diseased is unconscious and subconscious living. It's living without awareness and experiencing. It's living without humility and appreciation. It's living without really coming from your real self that is aware and experiencing, and without you being your true self, who you really are, your beingness. So it doesn't just happen. You see, physiologically, at a certain age, your body produces certain hormones that results in a physical development in your body. From a child, you become an adult. So, but that doesn't happen in spirituality automatically. It doesn't just happen like that. If you're living spiritually diseased, your heart is a disease and you're left astray, you're unconscious, you're subconscious, you're living, you're lost. It's not just going to happen automatically that one day your heart becomes pure. Do you understand? There is an application that we are to apply ourselves. Human beings are to apply ourselves. You've been listening to all my lectures for this year. You'll see the theme of us having to apply ourselves to a higher level of awareness and experiencing. There's a role we play in our life. Allah says to us, "A'udhu," claim refuge with Allah from Satan, because we are to claim the refuge that is available to us. You see, it's for us to claim the refuge. It's for us to know that there's a refuge to claim. It's for us to know that we are already astray. We're starting off astray. Nobody starts off, hi, I'm sorted and on track. Not even anybody, not even the prophets. They were guided. They came to awareness, to submit that unaware, ignorant, superstitious, arrogant living of the satanic identity, the satanic self, that part of us that is whispered to. You see, until guidance comes to us, we will live unconsciously, that means whispered to, and subconsciously. We won't operate as these remarkable beings that we were created. You see, we are different from the animals. We can be aware of Allah's beingness. Like we can be aware that Allah is our refuge. There is Allah and He is our refuge, and we can move in the direction of Allah. We can become aware of Allah's greatness. We can want to look around and see the power of Allah. Actually see the power of Allah. We can't see Allah in this world because Allah created this world. It's a created world. Allah can't be in His creation. You understand? So, you're not going to find Allah anywhere in time and space as a thing. But we can look and see the power of Allah. The Quran says, look and see that the heavens and the earth were created that we may come to know the power of Allah, the qudrat, the qadr, the power of Allah. And that we can look and see that Allah is all great, all powerful, but Allah is also the all gracious and the all privileging of us. We can look and we can see that we are privileged. You see, you can live your whole life and you can be in your ideas of God and ideas of Allah and ideas of Islam and ideas, but you'll never have the awareness from a developed self, the real you, the true self. You won't know yourself as spiritually developed until and unless you have an intention to develop yourself spiritually, to actually develop yourself. It's not happening automatically. It doesn't mean you went to madrasa, it doesn't mean you spoke to your mother and father and they told you a lot of things and now you are spiritually developed because you got all these ideas in your mind. Doesn't mean that. There is a distinction between a believer, and a non-believer. When you see a believer, they are high value. They have a relationship with Allah. They give to Allah valuing. They have a relationship with themselves, their bodies and their lives. The Quran tells us how to eat. The Prophet showed us how to exercise and live and be healthy and remain fit and strong, And we've been guided to relate to other people. You see, believers are high value people. Now, don't get me wrong. Everybody is born with value. This is Allah's gift to us. All of us have been given innate worth. As a human being, we created amazing, not because of us, but because of Allah's mercy and kindness, and He gave us worth. And look and see human beings, what they're capable of that is positive. Look and see what we can aspire to be and be higher value people. So believers are higher value people in the world. They give to Allah. They're actually aware of Allah and they give to Allah appreciation, valuing, respect, acknowledgement, appreciation. And they give to themselves, their bodies, their lives. They operate in a way that benefits themselves. And they operate in a way that benefits others, believers. The Quran says, you're the best of creation. The believers are the best of creation. We are progressive and constructive in our ways. And we guide people to living in a more conscious rather than unconscious way. We guide people, even society, we show them, true believers, that this is how you can live at a higher level. You get what I mean? So, spiritual development doesn't just happen automatically. And it doesn't happen because you went to madrasa or because you heard somebody talk about Allah. Spiritual development is when you take the responsibility for you living at a higher level, to be a higher value individual. You understand? That's what spiritual development is about. That you don't show up being a nuisance to other people, and so on and so forth. Because there are people that show up in the world, they're not of any value to anybody, not even themselves, and to anybody else. They don't add to life. They don't add to life in any real way. What does the Quran tell us? One of the things it says is by the end of the day, human beings are in a state of loss. Except those who have faith and have good conduct. Guiding others to truth and guiding others to patient perseverance. You know what I mean? If you are not developing your faith, your relationship with your Creator, becoming Allah conscious, really Allah conscious, not what you think Allah consciousness is, or what people have told you, until you really become Allah conscious, and until your behavior towards Allah is reverent, respectful, towards yourself is respectful, towards others, you understand? Until you become aware of Allah and become aware of Allah's relating to you. Until you actually become aware that we are reliant upon Allah alone, not on us. We can't depend on us. A lot of people who depend on themselves, who are afraid of depending on others, or they think that it's bad or wrong to depend on others. I'm not saying that it's right or good either, but there are people who say, as long as I don't need anybody, I'm okay. There are people like that. They think that because by depending on themselves, they think they are self-reliant. But they're not. Nobody is truly self-reliant. You understand? Everybody is a creation of God in a world created by God. We require God for our every moment of existence. The mercy of God is upon. Nobody is ever self-reliant with a capital R. Our reliance is upon our Creator. You get what I mean? So when you are lost in unconsciousness, you think you rely upon yourself, or you think you rely upon somebody else or something else, or you think everybody relies on you or somebody relies on you. You don't have a relationship with your Creator. You don't experience being related to by your Creator. as a believer, you don't know your Creator. You don't know your Creator's grace, the gracious nature of your Creator. You are unaware. You're living lost in a trance, focused on people to look after you, focused on you looking after everybody else, you thinking you looking after yourself. You're living lost without an awareness beyond this world. But beyond this world is a Creator. And you're not experiencing being related to by the Creator. You see, so if you want to be a believer, a person of high value, then you've got to make a study and look at what's blocking you from being a believer. Satan is the major block. You get what I mean? And what has he told you? How are you living without awareness that keeps you from experiencing Allah consciousness and experiencing being related to by Allah? That's what I've been spending the past many years teaching people and doing these kind of lectures. For over 3.5 years I did free presentations in Cape Town and on the internet, the Believers Refuge training. This is what it's about waking up and developing yourself beyond an underdeveloped, spiritually underdeveloped. You've got to understand that everybody is spiritually underdeveloped, including you and me, until we choose spiritual development. And spiritual development is not just filling your mind up with ideas and thinking you know. Spiritual development is expanding in awareness, being your real self and being your true self and living authentically. It's about Iman and Amal. You understand? It's about becoming aware of Allah, the greatness of Allah, the graciousness of Allah. It's about becoming aware that Allah is relating to us, experiencing being related to by Allah in an adult, mature way. Not like how you learned when you were little. As a child, you got these ideas in your head. If you don't have that peace in your heart, if you feel like not comfortable within you, like how I felt for decades, if you felt miserable, if you need to smoke cigarettes and scream and shout at people and find relief in things of this world and always unhappy and all that, it's because you haven't come to be aware of your Creator and you haven't established your relationship of submission with your Creator, and you don't experience being related to by your Creator. And so if you don't experience being related to by your Creator, you won't experience relating to yourself in a truly self-reliant way. See? First we put our reliance upon Allah and we experience that reliance and what that really means, that security with Allah, that okayness with Allah as a believer. And then we do what we can do in this world. There are things that we can do. We can apply ourselves in this world. We can apply ourselves as adults, caring for us, caring for our bodies, caring for our lives, playing a positive role, looking at how we eat, whether we exercise the body and so on and so forth, looking and seeing whether we're operating in a progressive way, in a constructive way. If you have that relationship with Allah, that's the only time you will be able to have a relationship with you, your body and your life that is positive and progressive. And then you'll be able to have relationships with other people as a believer. You see, if you are not secure with Allah and you're needy, or you're needy on people, or people need you, or you're needy on yourself, then you won't really be caring for you in a way that to play the role you can in your life. You see, only Allah can take care of us. But we can be caring to ourselves, our bodies and our lives. As a believer, when you experience that security with Allah, you can be what I call self-full. You can be a person who lives as an authority, as an adult, making good choices and decisions for you. And that's when you can then relate to other people. You can relate to other people. If you are not connected with Allah, experiencing being related to by Allah, and if you're not relating to yourself, your body and your life in a healthy way, then if you're not feeling secure, the experience of well-being with your Creator, the power of Allah, experiencing the power of Allah, then you can't have that wellness of I'm an authority in my life and I'm doing what I have to do for me, which benefits me. I'm playing a positive role in my life. I feel good naturally. I support natural good feelings. I'm supporting a good experience, natural good feelings. You won't do that. Then how are you going to be with other people in relationships? You're going to show up with other people as an insecure, needy person. And you're going to show up with other people as a destructive person in your life. What value are you going to be to other human beings? You probably just tell them, love me, love me, love me, love me, I need you, I need you, I need you. And you won't really be there with a human being as a higher functioning human being. And you won't choose a higher functioning human being too. You won't recognize that who are the higher functioning human beings. You understand? If you look at life, lower functioning people match lower functioning people. Now, if you're there, don't feel bad. I was there too. I was there too. But I didn't want to remain a lower functioning human being. I didn't want to remain a person who was being destructive to me, my body, my life, not being constructive. I chose to have my relationship with my Creator first. And Allah has guided me closer and closer to Him. Shukr to Allah. You take one step towards Allah, He takes 10 towards you. And Allah has guided me, to be aware of His beingness. That as a human being, animals can't recognize Allah's beingness the way we can. You understand? We can worship and praise Allah in a way that the human can, that the animals we don't see them doing. We can become Allah conscious. And we can be in awe of Allah's greatness and appreciate Allah's graciousness. We can receive what He has given to us. We can develop ourselves to receive what He has given to us. If you remain underdeveloped spiritually, if you have insecurity, if you worship Satan, you won't connect with your Creator. You won't feel that security. You won't have that iman, that faith in your heart. And you won't be appreciative of Allah's giving to you, your body, your life, other people, the opportunity that you won't appreciate that. You get what I mean? You will behave in a very neglectful way of yourself, indulgent, depriving. Satan will lead us astray. That's what his job is. His ambition is to not let people connect with Allah and experience a relationship of security with Allah, iman in our hearts, and doesn't want us to actually be appreciative and value, show up as an adult who can see. And that's what I want to speak to you, the rest of my time with you today. That if you live your life, you can live your life whispered to by Satan. Remember, Satan stands in the path and renders the people kafuran. That means you're living your life, but you're not really aware, and you're not really experiencing peace in your heart, salam. And you can see it if you want to see it, and other people can see it. You're not a high value person. I said, don't take it personally. That's Satan. When you worship Satan, you don't be a high value person. You must choose, you must have an intention to become a high value person. I told you everybody is born with value, but how you function is a high functioning person. When I say high value, I mean high functioning. Value to God, like I am mentioning God. The Quran, Islamic teaching says, Hadith Qudsi says, if you mention Allah in an audience, then He mentions you in a higher audience. So I am mentioning Allah in an audience, and He's mentioning me in a higher audience. You know what I mean? This is drawing closer to Allah. This is valuing Allah. This is choosing truth over these trances. This is choosing enlightenment. This is choosing enlightenment over superstition. This is choosing going beyond being lost in the trances of Satan worship to being aware and experiencing at a higher level. You got to choose that. That must be something important to you. You see, there are many people who say, oh, we are right, our way is right way. But if you look at them, there's no value. Look at how they relate to Allah. They're more interested in Islam and being right about Islam than they about Allah. Remember, Allah gave us Islam. Islam didn't give us Allah. Islam is a beautiful way that believers can follow. So there are people who are unaware of Allah and they want to kill and die for Islam, but they're not aware of Allah. What kind of Islam is that? You know what I mean? So there are people who, when you look at them, the Prophet said, when he was asked who is a mu'min, who is one who is secure, he says one whom everybody is safe from. You can see people in the world, Maulana Guru and gang included, diseased hearts. You can see they over, indulgence in the world, some of them no proper discipline and so on and so forth, of conduct, temperament, behavior, mannerisms, not focusing on the tayyib, just on the halal, picking and choosing verses of the Quran. You can see this in the world. But this is not about them. Allah says, leave them, He will show them the error of the way. It's about you and me. Do we want to be like them? Or do we want to be Allah conscious? See? Do we want to be aware, spiritually developed? And so, you can't just say, what must I say? Say, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasul. Oh, now you're spiritually developed? No, you're not spiritually developed. If you just say that. A lot of people who have said it are hypocrites in Islamic teaching. The Quran even says that. They say they believe in Allah and the last day, but they don't. So it's not enough just to say, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Just to say it without awareness and experiencing and choosing it. You get what I mean? So, it's about, will I live my life with purpose and to live on track? Will I? See? Will I choose to support becoming aware? The Quran's methodology is of awareness. Look and see, look around and see, look around and see. So, one of the things is that when you are in a trance, you cannot be aware of beyond this physical world is its creator. When you worship Satan, you think you are real. You think the world is real. You get what I mean? In the sense of, you think that this world always was and you always was. You forget that you're an apparent being. Only Allah is actual. You forget that you've come into existence. And the world came into existence through the creation of our Creator. We are caused and continued. We don't exist actually. We exist apparently. This world exists apparently. You understand? This is submission. Now people don't understand what you're talking about. But isn't it Allah and us? No. There is only Allah that is real, eternal, the one power, benevolent, beneficent intelligence. Allah alone is beyond this temporal-spatial world. There is actually only Allah, the all-gracious. You see, so when you are in this world and thinking from what I will call the false self or the phantom self, you are not aware that this world is miraculous, that this planet is a planet spinning on its axis in the middle of outer space. You get what I mean? When you're living, you don't look. The Quran says, look and see the celestial bodies each moving in its own orbit. Look and see there's day and night. Look and see that there's order in this world. Look and see what Allah has created and how great is Allah for His creating that, and how gracious is Allah because that serves us. If you just get up and you're like, okay, it's time to get up, get busy now, and then go back exhausted to bed. If you're not really aware that there was night by Allah's favor, by design, and there's day by Allah's favor, and we are distinguished human beings from the animals, and that we have a beingness in us, that we can be aware like the animals can't be aware, and we can express in us and experience animals can't experience. We can see the miraculous nature of the universe. We can see our Creator created us miraculous. You see, when you get out of the trance, oh, I'm not happy about this, and I'm worried about that, and why this didn't happen to me, and what's going to happen, you lost. You lost. You're not submitted to be aware and to see as a believer. Look, this is the power of God, that the earth is spinning on its axis. Look, that you and I is the power of God. So when you look and say, oh, I don't see God, I don't see God, look at me, I don't see God. Look and see. Become aware beyond the trance. See the power of God. It's by the power of God that the sun is in the sky, supporting life on earth. It's by the power of God there's a moon that rotates, orbits around the earth, that allows life on earth to continue too. It's by the power of God that we are in a system that is operating. The Quran says, look and see how water comes and is led, the what is called the cycle, the rain cycle. The Quran talks about all this. Look and see, but you think, oh, it's raining. You don't see, hey. This is what the Quran is telling us. Look and see. This world is organized in a design by the great designer. The more you start looking around you and you start seeing the design and you start seeing the designer in terms of the design and you become aware of the designer, you are moving into an expanded awareness. And that's when you will begin to be an appreciator. So your real self is the aware self. Now if you're living your life, I'm busy, I got this, that, I'm busy with my religion, I'm busy with my practices, I'm busy with my ideas and my beliefs, and you're not stopping and looking and seeing, and then you won't appreciate. You know what I mean? You will not appreciate. So how do we know that we are spiritually developing? We are seeing beyond the usual lostness of the trance, things and people that we focus on and the routines that we just get up in the morning and do the same thing every day, and we start awakening to the magnanimity of God, the majesty of God, the magnificence of God, the mercy of God. We start recognizing it in the world. We look and see the power of God. We look and see the privileging of God. We start actually becoming humble and appreciative. That's how you know you're spiritually developing. You get what I mean? From somebody who is spiritually developing, I'm telling you, Allah has guided me. If you believe in Allah, He will guide you. He will guide your heart. Allah is guiding my heart every day. I am on track. I am very pleased that while I might still require growth in terms of my way of living in the world and relating to others and receiving Allah's good in this world and the world beyond, while my life is not ideal, and while maybe some areas of my life may be displeasing, I have Iman. I am on track to Allah consciousness. I am aware and experiencing. I can see with humility. I don't walk the earth with arrogance, denial of Allah's greatness and graciousness, Allah's power and privileging. I am aware and I can experience it, and I can see the value of being alive. I mean, I can every day ask myself, am I in the aware eye, am I in the experiencing eye? Because then I know whether I require refuge with Allah in that moment or not. Am I humble? In the humble eye, am I in the appreciative eye? If I'm not, then I say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. You get what I mean? I become aware that it is through the awareness of Allah's greatness and graciousness that I am no longer in a trance. I'm no longer in a lost where Satan can just push me around. Remember, those who are devout in the worship of Allah, Satan have no authority over them. If you're living your life without awareness and experiencing, lost in a trance and feeling bad and just controlled by a miserable state and trying to find safety, relief and excitement, Satan's got you, pushing you around. You don't even know that. But if you're aware, if you're humble, and you're aware of Allah and His greatness, and you're aware of Allah's graciousness, and you're appreciative, you say, I see the value of this. I see the value of this. I can recognize the value of being alive. I am humble that I couldn't cause myself to exist, and I can't cause myself to continue to exist. Not in this world, not through my death, and not beyond. But Allah has caused me to be, and will cause me to continue to be in my death and beyond. And every moment of my life is as a human being, not as an animal. Allah gave me His favor. I'm the privileged creation of Allah. I am aware. I'm thankful for being created a human being. Not only do I exist, but I exist at a higher level than the animals. And I'm aware of that. I'm distinguished from other life forms. Human beings are distinct, and so are you, distinguished from other life. I'm thankful for being a human being. I can recognize that as a human being, Being, I can experience being aware, being appreciative, being accepting, being valuing. As a human being, I can value Allah as the absolutely valuable. I can recognize I have Allah, and I have Allah's favors upon me, and Allah has already given me, and Allah is already available to me. I need Allah, I need. No, I already have Allah. He's already given to me favor. He created me to exist. I'm not obsessed with survival. I exist in this world through my death and beyond. See, when you worship Satan, you're obsessed with survival. When you worship Allah, you recognize He's given you life in this world through your death and beyond. You recognize He's favored you. The Quran says that we created the children of Adam, given them favors that are not given to other creation. I can see the favors. The Quran asks, which of the favors do you deny? You know what I mean? I am acknowledging more and more favors every day. I'm seeing the value of being a human being, that I have mind and reason, and I have imagination, and I have love, and I can experience being appreciative, and I can experience joy and love and caring, and I can experience being the attributes of Allah, that Allah alone really is, but we can be merciful and kind and compassionate. We can be secure. We can be forgiving and pardoning. We can be peaceful. We can be patient. I am seeing. You see, that's the real you. When you recognize the value of something and you appreciate the value, that's when you are grateful and thankful. That's when you are appreciative and you have joy around receiving it, and you enjoy having it. You see the benefits of it, and you rejoice being given it, and you celebrate Allah's graciousness. You see, as a believer, you are aware and you are experiencing. As a believer, you are humble and you are appreciative. This is the real shift that anybody can go through if you want to. I'm just sharing it with you. And I'm so grateful. I'm a believer. And Allah is guiding me, showing me where I haven't been a receiver, where I have been keeping away from me people, things, and experiences that are at a higher level. How I'm behaving, that is, Satan is telling me, I'm a sinner still. You know how I'm behaving, but I'm a believing sinner. Allah is showing me the error of my ways. But anyway, let me end with this. That I am so grateful that while my life, there's more for me to be as an adult human being and more to live as Allah's favored creation in this world and the world beyond, as long as I got my iman, as long as I'm on track to Allah consciousness, as long as I'm not living unconscious and subconscious, as long as I'm not living in trances and a diseased heart and promoting that, as long as I'm drawing closer to Allah, I'm a success. I'm successful. And that success will move into greater levels of satisfaction in this world through my death and beyond. Shukr to Allah who has guided us to success. You know, the Quran tells us, remember Allah abundantly that you may experience success. Shukr to Allah. That if you are feeling every day that comfort with Allah, if you spend time with Allah every day, if you enjoy experiencing humility, if you enjoy experiencing appreciation, if Allah is the one only that you really have the closest relationship to, and you aspire to have the closest relationship with Allah, not your ideas of Allah, but with Allah, then that is a very great thing. I'm not talking about appearing religious. I'm talking about healing the diseases in your heart. Shukr to Allah who's guided us, who champions us. He tells us while we are here, Satan is the enemy avowed. Satan threatens us with insecurity and causes us to behave in ways unseemly, but he extends his forgiveness to us and extends of his bounty to us. Allah knows we are sinners. We can't hide that from Him, but He is the merciful. Come back, wake up, recognize me, be grateful to me. And it's a wonderful thing to recognize Allah's greatness and to register Allah's graciousness. It's a wonderful thing. Just feel energy flowing through your whole being. You feel connected. You're aware that you're part of a support system that Allah has created. You are in His care. You're taken care of. It's the best thing ever. Shukr to Allah. I'm among those who are on track. All praise, glory and thanks is due to Allah Almighty. His choicest blessings upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.